Dunehaven. Tom Sutton was an exhausted man indeed. The 75th day of his work trip had already started to come to a close, just like his eyes. He had been driving for hours through the great state of Utah in a rented Range Rover. Thankfully, the air conditioning was working. Tom wouldn't have survived without it in this 100+ degree weather. The heat mirages before him didn't help much with his sleepy disposition. Tom turned the radio up and focused on the nasal voice of the reporter.
In other news, 500 people are still on strike following the massive flooding in Beaver County last week.
There was no escaping it. As part of the most prestigious insurance firm on the West Coast, Tom Sutton was tasked with visiting places hit by disasters and encouraging people to take second or third life insurance. It was a sleazy thing to do, according to Tom. Unfortunately, his major in history and minor in Latin didn't help his prospects for a better job. Even though he imagined himself as the lowest form of spineless slugs, Tom made a life out of it. He got to visit almost all of the 50 states. On top of that, he managed to woo one of the receptionists working at the firm 5 years ago. Now he had her and the little blonde, blue-eyed baby boy waiting for him at home. He loved his family, of course, but he missed being free, being his own man. That is why he took those work trips with utmost zeal. He could have both his family and his freedom to roam. The tired man looked at a worn-out photograph stuck between the air conditioning vents. It portrayed a beautiful, short-haired woman holding her bundle of joy. He touched the photo with the tip of his finger as the radio host welcomed a new guest into the studio. Tom started to reminisce. It was such a wonderful day 5 years ago. There was not a cloud in the sky. Birds were singing and people were buzzing in the small cafe. Tom's sweaty palm extended on the table towards a blue-eyed girl. "After we finish our coffee, would you like to see a movie?" The girl took his sweaty hand and smiled in agreement.
And that is why we need to kill all of them. We are a sovereign nation and we have our rights. You are damn right, we need guns and more people,
screamed a man from the radio. His words extracted Tom from his bliss. The driver's eyes felt heavier by the second. He pulled over on the side of the road. He stopped the car, pushed his seat back, and enjoyed the dying light of the sun on the horizon. Then he closed his eyes. It felt like Tom had slept for days. He woke up with his throat as dry as the desert outside and his eyes full of sores. Tom reached to the passenger seat to grab the water bottle he had stored there the day before. There were a couple of drops left. "Hey Siri, where is the nearest gas station?" mumbled Tom as he got his traveling morning kit. The screen inside the car displayed 4 possible options. Too occupied with brushing his teeth, Tom pressed the first option: spit, key, ignition, go. As the black Range Rover sped away, tall dust clouds rose from the ground. 15 minutes later, the car's navigation urged Tom to slow down. The desired destination would be on his left. Tom thought the timing was perfect, since the fuel meter was glued to that dreaded E. In the distance, something was barring the road. Tom slowed down. The car came to a complete halt in front of a massive barbed wire wall. Behind the metal fencing were those humongous X-shaped metal objects. Tom never could remember their name, but he saw them often in war movies. A small metal gate opened, and Tom approached a rusted speaker.
"Welcome to the sovereign nation of Dunehaven, traveler. What is your purpose in visiting our country? Business or pleasure?"
A female voice crackled through. Hi, yes, did you just say Dunehaven?" Tom replied, perplexed.
"Yes, sir. State your purpose of entry, please. Business or pleasure?"
the voice said. Tom Sutton was a serious man. What was this kind of nonsense? He had no time for foolish games or jokes. He slammed the gas pedal and drove off.
"Hello,"
said the voice from the intercom. The black Range Rover was long gone. "Hey Siri, where is the nearest gas station?" Tom insisted angrily, leaning toward the steering wheel. He was pondering the stupidity that had just transpired. Siri displayed that the nearest gas station was behind him already. "That's impossible." That angered Tom even more. "I was just there and there was only barbed wire and desert." Bang! A deafening pop ended the argument Tom was having with the screen. The Range Rover started meandering in the dust. Tom's knuckles turned white from squeezing the wheel. He finally got the car under control and stopped as the Range Rover tilted to one side. A farting noise was coming from the front left tire of the SUV. Perfect. That is precisely what Tom needed. A flat tire in the middle of the desert. The man cursed and kicked the flat wheel. Then he started rummaging for the tire repair or tire changing kit. Any kit that would get him to a gas station. Tom was kneeling on the ashy ground when he felt a cold sensation on his neck. It was a metal pipe of some sort. Tom didn't move a muscle. He knew what that was. Hold on there, partner. We here in Dunehaven don't take kindly to illegal immigrants. You're going to have to come with me now. Otherwise, I am fixing to pull the trigger of good old John W. over here and be on my merry way. A man chewing tobacco said, resting an old Civil War rifle at Tom's neck. I don't want any trouble, Tom replied with a shaking voice. If you follow the rules, you'll be out of here in a shake of a rat's ass, affirmed the armed man. Okay, just don't shoot. Good man. The mysterious man holstered the rifle on his back. He grabbed Tom's arms, which were firmly raised in the air. The cold metal of the handcuffs wrapped around Tom's wrists with a satisfying click. The two men climbed into an old jeep with no roof. Tom didn't want to say anything incriminating, so he kept his mouth shut. He tried to remember all the rules and procedures of when a person was being detained. He had seen them in movies. His Miranda rights weren't read to him. Good. He had the basis of a lawsuit for unlawful detention. Sir? Tom remembered something. The round and bearded face of the driver turned to him. What about my car? We'll take care of your car for you. Don't you worry about a thing. Yeah, Tom wouldn't worry about a thing, all right. Yet he was handcuffed at gunpoint. He didn't know exactly where he was. A strange, burly man was driving him somewhere unknown. There is nothing to worry about at all. The two men drove for a mile when, in the distance, a gigantic flagpole appeared. It displayed a flag. Not just any flag, but the flag of Dunehaven. It featured a bright yellow background, presumably symbolizing the vast desert sands. In the center was a fantastical creature, half camel and half phoenix, painted in neon green and hot pink. The creature was standing on one leg, with wings outstretched, as if to conquer both the desert and the sky. Under all of this eclectic imagery, a bold and significantly uneven font spelled Kingdom of Dunehaven. The jeep screeched to a halt in front of a medium-sized gas station. "We're here, the president awaits you," said the hairy man, encouraging Tom to leave the vehicle. "President?" Tom objected. "But the flag shows that this is a kingdom." The driver shot him a cold, disapproving look. "Don't be a smartass and get off my damn car, boy." Tom didn't hesitate much as he hopped off the roofless jeep and looked around. All he could see was an empty desert, dirt, and heat. The little shade the giant flagpole provided was slowly disappearing. The sun had climbed higher in the sky. The jeep drove away, leaving Tom all alone. He entered the dilapidated gas station. The foul smell of stale air assaulted Tom's nose. Even with a quick glance, a normal person could determine that this gas station hadn't been cleaned in over a decade, maybe even more. Sticky tapes full of dead flies were dangling from the roof like vines in this disgusting jungle full of garbage. Tom took a reluctant deep breath. "Sir, please state your full name for the record," a voice behind an enormous leather chair said. "Tom Wilford Sutton," the man replied, stopping in his tracks. "And what is the reason you are visiting Dunehaven?" the voice commanded. "Listen, sir, respectfully. I was looking for a gas station and some water. Then, this weird voice from a metal box in the middle of nowhere started asking me the same thing you are. I was thirsty, tired and pissed off, so I bolted. Then on top of all that, I got a flat tire, which, to be honest, I don't know how to change. I don't want any trouble, okay? I don't know what kind of circus you are running here. A kingdom, a republic, or what? I want to get on with my day, please," Tom said. The uncompromising heat inside the gas station was almost too much to bear. Sweat ran down the handcuffed man's face. His white shirt, covered in stains and red dust, made him long for a shower. All right," said the voice behind the makeshift desk. It was a crude piece of furniture made to resemble the desk from the Oval Office in the White House. The chair turned around and a skinny man with a long white beard smiled at Tom. "So a pass-through then?" the man asked. "Yes, just a pass-through. I am just passing through," Tom exclaimed. The old man jotted down something on a dirty clipboard. "Do you have your passport with you, Tom?" "No, I don't have my passport with me. Why would I need to carry a passport in my own country? This is the United States of freaking America. I don't have to carry my passport, Tom argued. He had never felt more patriotic in his life. Red, white, and blue were coursing through his veins. A bald eagle carried him on his back. He could feel the liberating wings of freedom on his side. This was America, the land of the free. Ah, I see. Here is where you are mistaken, son, the old man said. This is no longer America. You are an illegal immigrant. This here is the democratically elected kingdom of Dunehaven, said the old man. Democratically elected kingdom? What are you talking about, mister? The heat and stench were taking over Tom's sound mind. He didn't care whether he would be imprisoned or not. He wanted water and fresh air. My pa always said that I'd be a great leader one day, so here I am. The old man proclaimed, with his arms stretched wide, I have ruled over my kingdom with justice and benevolence for 35 years. Sir, Tom started but stopped himself. It was evident that the person in front of him was a complete nutjob. He needed to play along. What is your name? Oh, benevolent one. Ha! No need for formalities, my boy. Jack is the name. I also used to have a last name, but ain't nobody got time for that nonsense. Now tell me, what can I do you for? Are you looking for citizenship? I have plenty of empty applications if you want. The brown eyes of the absurd man darted to a big pile of empty papers in the corner of the room. Oh, no, sir, I stumbled across your kingdom, and I just wanted to... Tom started. Micronation. Jack corrected him. A minute ago, this whole thing was a democratically elected kingdom. Now it is a micronation. Tom felt his sanity slowly slipping away. Micronation, forgive me, Tom said. You know what? Kingdom sounds better. Kingdom, final answer. Jack laughed. Tom's inner voice let out a horrified scream. On the outside, the poor man just smiled and nodded. As I said, I was looking for a gas station and a little water before my car got a flat tire. Tom finally finished. Ah, the flat tire, yes, I had to shoot your vehicle down. See, you didn't comply with Muriel's request for identification. Tom's lower lid started to twitch. The rage inside of him was at its boiling point. You shot my tire, Tom asked. Yes, my boy, I had to. Law and discipline govern this nation. It's right here in the Constitution. Surprisingly, for his advanced age, the old man exhibited remarkable speed. He dove in behind a wall of cardboard boxes, looking for something. Tom began to jump up and down and shake his head violently, screaming silently towards the old nutjob. In front of Tom's raging face appeared a small leather booklet. It was open to page 1. Letters written in golden marker read, Constitution of the Sovereign Nation of Dunehaven. Article 1. Jack rules over Dunehaven for his entire life until he dies, or someone kills him in a duel to the death, or is the democratically elected, whichever happens first. Tom averted his eyes, chocking a desperate laugh. We have a constitution and everything, Jack said. He tossed the little booklet behind his back. So what do you say? A quick citizenship application. Sir, please, no offense, but I like my citizenship as it is, Tom replied. Suit yourself, you are missing a lot, Jack said. The old man started pacing in the room, mumbling to himself. Trying to avoid the piles of trash lying on the floor, he gave Tom a few disapproving looks. An idea formed in Tom's head. Actually, I'll give you a pen. Jack jumped with glee. The old man reached into his back pocket and produced a once beautiful fountain pen. Someone had taped the instrument with clear tape, as it was leaking from somewhere. Tom made an attempt to grab the pen by reflex, but couldn't. Ah yes, sorry about that. Buzzer can be a little over the top. Jack made a spinning gesture with his hand near his own temple. The handcuffs fell with a loud clink on the floor. Jack kicked them away into a big pile of empty paper plates. Finally, free from his bondage, Tom had two choices. Either try to fight his way out of here or sign the citizenship document and be done with it. Tom decided on the latter. He reasoned that everybody here was probably out of their minds, had guns, and didn't even have a car. He grabbed the pen and filled out the form with false information in case the weirdos decided to contact him. Great. I'll have to file that with our immigration office and you'll have an answer in 5 to 500 business days. It all depends. Bureaucracy. You know how annoying those people are. Jack took the piece of paper and, without waiting for the ink to dry, folded it 4 times and stuck it in his pocket. Tom looked around the room, trying to find any excuse to change the subject. He noticed a big poster with Jack's face on it. Someone had written, "Vote for Jack, Autumn Elections 2009, in big black letters below the printed face. "Hey, can I ask you something?" Tom started. "Why does it say Kingdom of Dunehaven on the flag, which, by the way, is super cool? And yet, simultaneously, you say it is a democracy, and you are the president and not the king." Jack had started cleaning his teeth with a paperclip, but stopped. He took the most serious pose he could think of and stared right at Tom's eyes. "Well, Tom, my boy, when I founded the Kingdom of Dunehaven, I was alone, the sole citizen. Then Muriel came along and proclaimed that she wanted to be a part of the kingdom. I thought I had finally found another bride, but she denied my advances. She sought political haven since she had embezzled some money in her old country. In Dunehaven, there is no law banning embezzlement. We don't have any money," Jack said, slapping his knee and laughing. He had been waiting to make that joke for a long time. Muriel brought with her Buzzer, her husband. After a while, they held a town hall and decided they wanted to rule over Dunehaven. They tried to stage a coup but failed. The details aren't that interesting. A couple of knee bruises, 6 to 7 teeth missing, and 1 ear slightly bent out of shape. But nothing major, really. Afterward, we agreed that from that day on, Dunehaven would no longer be a kingdom but a democracy. I drafted a constitution. Want to see it? No, I saw it, remember? Tom stopped Jack mid-jump. But wait a minute. If it's a democracy and you 3 get to vote, that means they will always outvote you. It's a 2-to-1 situation. How come you are still running this place? Well, it's very simple, Tommy boy. Everyone votes for themselves every time. In a tie, the current regime chooses its successor. It says so in the Constitution. So I choose me every time. It only seems fair. A loud horn coming from outside startled the men. The sun was scorching hot, and the thermometer had climbed to over 150 degrees. The outside was not meant for mortal men. Tom walked out to see his Range Rover all fixed up and washed. Buzzer climbed out of the driver's seat and threw the keys to him. "You are alive still. I presume you're good to stay or leave, huh?" The burly man growled at Tom. Tom smiled and nodded. Buzzer spat a black substance on the ground and reassured himself that the can of tobacco was still in his back pocket. "Be seeing your illegal immigrant." With heavy steps, Buzzer faded away in the heat mirage. Tom put his hand under his shirt and pinched himself below the ribs. This had to be a dream. The searing pain on his skin told him otherwise. "Ah, your sweet chariot awaits." Jack appeared behind Tom and startled him. "I guess this is goodbye," Tom said. "Not without a hug," Jack replied. The old man lunged forward and wrapped his bony arms around Tom's body. Another pungent smell penetrated Tom's senses. A mix between old vinegar and a bus full of people in mid-July filled the poor man's nose. Tom's eyes watered. He didn't want to spend even a second longer in this asylum. "Didn't you need gas?" Jack asked, stepping back. "Right, the sole reason all this was happening." Tom hopped in the Range Rover and parked next to one of the gas columns. The meter started running. Until this day, Tom wasn't sure why he asked the question that he did. He always blamed the heat and stench of it all, but deep down he knew better. It was pure, morbid curiosity. "Why did you do it?" Tom looked at Jack. The old man turned towards the Range Rover with a questioning look. "Why did you establish Dunehaven?" Tom clarified. Jack looked at the ground. He made a big half circle in the dirt with his legs swaying back and forth. He looked like a toddler caught stealing cookies from a forbidden jar. Jack looked up to Tom and said, "Freedom, I am free here." A sudden weight dropped on Tom's chest. That was the first time the old man seemed lucid. It wasn't scary or funny anymore. Tom felt sadness and pity for him. Those 5 words carried so much weight and potency, coming from the mouth of an insane man. "You can be free anywhere in Utah, right?" Tom asked. Jack grinned. All of a sudden, the old man stepped right next to the driver's door, his face conspiratorial. "The real truth is, come closer. Gin vipers roam these parts. They are these big, nasty creatures, 10 feet high with huge fangs. That is why I established Dunehaven here. The truth is, I am protecting these parts. But we need guns and more people. We can't let them gin vipers roam outside the perimeter I've established. As I told the lady on the radio yesterday, we are a sovereign nation and need more support from our allies. We need to exterminate them all. We need more guns. That is the real truth. Gin vipers. The gas column dinged and snapped Jack out of his rambling. Tom was staring into the dirt. How much for the gas? Tom asked. That'll be 767 golden doubloons, replied Jack. I don't have 767 golden doubloons, Tom said. No problem at all. Nobody has doubloons, as nobody seems to recognize Dunehaven's official currency. Tell you what, Muriel does the currency exchange. Drive over to her, Jack responded. Bye, Jack, Tom said. Tom quickly put the Range Rover in drive and sped away without waiting for another prompt. The proud yellow flag of Dunehaven became smaller and smaller in the rearview mirror. Tom breathed a sigh of relief that he had survived the encounter unscathed. He had no intention of stopping at Muriel's booth. Jack's silhouette waving frantically at him made Tom's stomach shrink 2 sizes. He reached for the old picture of his wife and baby and kissed it. I'm coming home soon, honey. Real soon. A small wooden booth with a big yellow flag painted on the side appeared in the distance. Muriel's booth. Why the hell not? Tom slammed the brakes. A cloud of red dust whooshed past the stopped car and the little wooden booth. The wooden shed door swung open. A thin woman with red hair and green spectacles walked outside. She was clutching a small purple umbrella to hide from the sun. What can I do you for? Asked Muriel with the thickest southern accent Tom had ever heard. I'm here to exchange some dollars for doubloons. I need to pay for the gas, Tom said. The sunken eyes of the woman doubled in size. Yeah, give me a second. Muriel shuffled back in. The sign atop the door grabbed Tom's attention. Immigration Control and Exchange Bureau. I guess in micronations you have to be resourceful with the institutions, Tom thought. Muriel emerged from the little shack. She was holding a burlap envelope and an old-timey calculator. So how much for the gas again? She smacked her lips and opened the burlap sack. 767 golden doubloons, replied Tom. Muriel put her arm in the burlap sack and pulled out a handful of what seemed to be golden coins. She started counting them and periodically entering something in the calculator. After a while, a delightful smile revealing the 7 good teeth she had left in her mouth appeared on Muriel's face. That should do it, she said. Tom reached out and the thin woman dropped the proper amount of coins in his hand. On closer inspection, Tom determined that those weren't gold at all. Someone had mixed wood shavings with instant glue, that someone had probably stomped them in a handmade mold of some sort to make the coins. And the gold. The wrappings of Ferrero Rocher candy provided the gold casing. Every wrapping seemed to have been meticulously straightened and then wrapped around the doubloon. That'll be $57. Muriel stopped the inspection. Tom opened the glove compartment, retrieved his wallet, and found only $100 bills inside. I have only $100 bills, the man said, showing the woman. With the speed of a praying mantis, the Muriel snatched a banknote and stuffed it into her bra. Sorry, no change. Consider this a tip for the fast service, she said. Fast service, you know what, keep it, Tom said. And what do I do with the doubloons now? Do I return to Jack to pay him, or will you handle that? Muriel leaned over and pushed her head through the window. She looked left and right, making sure nobody would hear her, and whispered, You can go, sugar. It will be our little secret. Considering you are the first lunatic to buy doubloons anyway, I'll give you a pass this time. Give me your transit pass so I can stamp it, and you are good to go. I didn't get any transit pass. The woman reached into Tom's shirt pocket and pulled out a yellow business card. This was the first time the man had ever seen it. Muriel waved the card a little and signed it. She winked devilishly at Tom and put it back into his pocket. Hey, can I ask you a question? Tom started, deciding not to even bother with the yellow business card. Anything for $1, replied Muriel. Tom looked at his wallet. He slowly pulled another $100 bill, which was snatched just as fast as the first one. Ask away, sugar, Muriel said. What's the deal with Jack, and what is the deal with this whole place? Oh, Jack is as crazy as they come. As far as I know, he had a wife and a kid. Muriel flashed a glance at the dashboard, just like this pretty little thing over there. There was a terrible accident, though. Both of them passed away while he was on a business trip. Cold shivers ran down Tom's entire body. Long story short, he is as crazy as a sprayed cockroach. He stumbled on this here place and founded Dunehaven. Of course, it's completely illegitimate and unlawful, but he takes care of us. The government has given up and just lets him live here. Us as well. He might be as crazy as an outhouse rat rambling about gin vipers and all that, but he's helped more people than you can imagine. There was one time when a guy's wife was in labor and their car broke down over yonder. Jack helped the woman out and even gave the baby Dunehaven citizenship on the spot. We have it good here. We don't have much. Hell, we ain't got nothing, but we are free. There it is again, the sadness. Tom stared into the thin woman's eyes. She looked sincere as a money embezzler could look. He made a gesture toward Muriel. That conversation was over. The thin woman nodded. Turn around and drive exactly 3 miles that way. When you reach the gate, press the button, and I'll buzz you out. Will do, thank you, Muriel. Tom put the Range Rover in drive and bolted for the exit, covering 3 miles as if they were 3 feet. Upon arrival, he was greeted by the same familiar sight. Barbed wire fence surrounded by these metal things from the war movies. Tom pressed the button on the rusted metal box. Welcome to the sovereign nation of Dunehaven, traveler. Please state your intent, business, or pleasure. A female voice crackled through the speaker. Muriel, it's me. Tom, open the damn gate. The box crackled as the small metal gate rose up. Dunehaven was already a couple of miles behind him, but Tom knew he would think about it for a long time. The next gas station is 500 feet away. Keep right at the fork, the navigation assistant said. The black Range Rover pulled up in the last free parking spot of the renovated gas station. Tom entered. He was immediately hit with the cold whooshing of the overly cranked air conditioning. The sweet smell of juniper berries filled the space. 1 bottle of water, please, said Tom. The cashier seemed bored out of his mind. That'll be $2.75, sir. Anything else? Asked the teenager. No, that's it, thank you. From his pocket, Tom produced a bunch of coins. They looked even shinier in the fluorescent lights. Hey, do you accept golden doubloons here? Asked Tom, showing the gas station attendant his hand full of supposedly gold currency. No, sir. We accept only American dollars and credit cards, replied the boy. His voice seemed to put his face to sleep. Shame! Tom paid with his American dollars, got the exact change that he was owed, and entered his car. Tom Sutton was a tired man indeed. He was tired of being free and wanted to rest. Rest in the warm embrace of that sweet prison called home. Tom pulled his phone out and dialed. Baby! A female voice from the other side exclaimed, Hey, baby, I'm cutting my trip short. I'm coming home. The end.